何なんですか？
ただのおじさんだよ。異世界帰りの。
I am just an uncle from another world. I seriously am just absolutely in freaking love with this anime. Like, at first, when the episodes first started, I was like, oh man, this week's episode's a little bit boring. I was like, that's okay though. You know, it starts off with like the uncle talking about Sega. Also, I love how the uncle is just absolutely obsessed with Sega products. I can definitely understand being a fan of something and being alone, especially, you know, back in the day when it was like Nintendo versus Sega. Being a Sega kid, I'm sure it was even worse in Japan than it was here in the States. Like, personally, I was a Nintendo kid, but the people who were the Sega kids, like, they would not shut up about it on the schoolyard. It's like, yo, bro, I played Sonic. It ain't that good, bro. I'm gonna stick with my Mario over here. So I can definitely sympathize with that for sure, 'cause I'm a big gamer. As you guys know, if you don't know, I run a gaming channel. It's in the description if you guys want to check out the gaming channel. Lots of gaming stuff here. But regardless, I can sympathize with that for sure. But, like, I thought the episode was, like, a little bit boring at the beginning of it. But then, like, I find myself multiple times. This has been the first episode and this one. I find myself multiple times effing wheezing. I am wheezing. I'm laughing so much. I'm like, like, I'm laughing so freaking much. I love that the uncle is just this absolute dense, shallow mess of a man that he basically had these ladies catered up to him in the other world, and Takafumi is constantly disappointed with his uncle. In this episode, last episode was the elf girl. This episode was this ice girl, and she's basically given to him on a silver platter, and basically she's basically telling him, like, you know, take my heart, essentially. And instead, this man goes and slays a dragon, comes back and is like, all right, I'm done, and pieces out. And Takafumi, she's like, yo, what the F is going on? Then this girl sneaks into this man's room and, you know, it basically tells him again, like, save me, train me, do whatever. Like, gives him a second chance at taking her. And he's like, no, you go live your life the way you want. You go be a recluse. And she's like, I was dying. I was dying from that. As Takafumi just like, yo, you want to just get some noodles, bro? Like, he's just constantly interested and just completely decimated and disappointed by his uncle constantly over and over again. Then the episode gets to like 125%. So we find out that Takafumi's also a dense piece of crap too. And he runs into, well, first, his childhood friend runs into his uncle, and his uncle is there just blabbering in a park, just like, oh, yes, I can't believe the winds are strong today. And he looks like just like some hobo. He looks like just some homeless-ass person just talking to himself, tripped up on, like, booze or drugs or something. And the girl is walking. He's like, I need to stop walking in this neighborhood. And thankfully, Takafumi stops her. He's like, oh, Fujiwara, Fujimina. I don't know what her name is. I think it's Fuji something. But he's like, oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. And it ends up being a super childhood friend who was always flirting with him. And he was probably too stupid and dense to notice that she wasn't just a friend. She really liked him or loved him. You know, no girl just hangs on some guy in that nature all the time and doesn't like him, right? So he was just a dense piece of crap. So anyways, he reconnects with her and he invites her to his place. And he leaves, you know, he texts her like, hey, I'm going to step out. I'm going to grab us some snacks or something so we can catch up. My place is open. Go in. So she goes in and the uncle is freaking flying in. And he immediately, because she sees him, A, they have an awkward staring exchange. And B, he immediately like tackles her and tries to erase her mind. Thankfully, he says it in the other the gibberish language and doesn't say Japanese instead. And, you know, thankfully, Takafumi comes in, attacks him, and then we get to see that whole exchange of his friend and meeting his uncle, and his uncle calling him out like, oh, you're in love with Takafumi, aren't you? She's like, oh no. He speeds, he reads her mind. She's like, not only did you take a shower, but you changed your clothes and you got ready to see Takafumi. And then this girl even says, like, you need to get rid of your uncle ASAP. Like, I'll get a job, I'll work, move in with me, blah, blah. And even Takafumi, even her saying that, he doesn't even realize it. He's like, oh yes, being a roommate, huh? I never really considered that. So just hilarious thing after hilarious thing occurred this episode. And like I am having such a great time watching Uncle from Another World. And I love that this whole entire anime's premise is about this dude who had the worst isekai experience ever because he was just such a unsociable, uncommunicative person who was dense and who didn't really understand the world. And I kind of feel like this kind of shows you on those people, you know, who just kind of like they stick themselves in the room, they're dark in their dark room, they never come out, they never know how to like engage or socialize or communicate with people. And they have a lot of trouble with that. This is basically showing us like if that kind of person were to go an isekai into the world, they wouldn't suddenly become a completely different person. They would just continue being the same person that they were, which is exactly what the uncle is. I mean, he was preaching to the ice girl about Sega and being a one console person. Like, and she's like, I don't know what the fuck you mean. Like, it's just so fantastic. And it's just such a pleasure to watch. So Uncle from Another World is definitely one of my favorite anime this season so far. I love it. It's hilarious. I am finding myself wheezing. I love the characters. Like, I love the Uncle from Another World. I love it so much. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Let me know if you're loving it as much as I am. Or maybe I'm alone on an island loving it so much. But let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.